Hey everyone, welcome back to SecureDApp's YouTube channel. As always, this is your host and host Kunal, and today we are back with the final episode of SecureDApp Spotlight. So, if you are watching the episodes, you already know what is SecureDApp Spotlight. So, still, I need to introduce. So, it is a SecureDApp Spotlight is a series where we sit down with industry expert and explore the latest blockchain and cybersecurity regulations, and all that comes in between real talks, real insights straight from the front lines of Web3 and digital security. I am Kunal Chowdhury, content and community executive and a subject matter expert at SecureDApp. With me, I have joined by Nikhil Prasad. Nikhil Prasad is one of the most promising legal minds shaping the future of blockchain security. And at SecureDApp, Nikhil serves as a blockchain regulation and a subject matter expert, playing a critical role in change in aligning decentralized technologies with evolving legal frameworks. So without wasting any further time, let me just hand over this mic to Mr. Nikhil Prasad. He will just introduce himself and tell us what we are heading to. So over to you, my friend.
Okay, thank you, Kunal. Hello everybody. I'm Nikhil Prasad Singh, and I am a passionate lawyer in the field of Web3 and crypto. So, today we are going to cover all the regulations that are pertaining to the Canada. What are the regulations of the virtual digital assets in Canada? We'll cover each and every aspect of it. We'll cover each and every one of your questions. So, uh, let's get ready. So, today is the finale of your spotlight season as well. So let's hope that it goes well. So let's
Obviously,
start.
Nikhil, it will go well. You are here. I am here. It will go well only. So, Nikhil, let us start with the first question that I have in my mind. So, how does Canadian law define virtual digital assets or virtual currencies?
So Kunal, in Canada, the term virtual currency is statutorily defined under the proceeds of the crime of the money laundering and the terror financing act, just like it is in India. And its associated regulations that are pertaining to that are is any digital specifically the virtual currency. That means in this is that any digital representation of value that is used for payment or investment purposes, that is not a fiat currency, and which can be used readily for exchange of funds, or another virtual currency that can be readily exchanged for funds. And further is a anything which is have a private key of a cryptographic system that enables a person to access digital representation of the value described. Okay, so thus the definition captures both the token itself and the underlying access mechanism that confers the ownership of or spending power over that token. Further, this broad definition was enacted to ensure that any novel or emerging digital asset construct falls within the Canada's AML-CTF perimeter, and further, regardless of underlying technology, that is blockchain, directed acyclic graph, etc. It applies to decentralized tokens, stable coins and other programmable money instruments as well, so long as they not meet the exchangeability criteria. So notably, this definition is technologically neutral and future proof, meaning regulators need not to amend the statute each time a new cryptographic protocol emerges. Further, by encompassing both the value token and its enabling private key, the MLCFT ensures that any person or entity with access to a token, even if only a via key, may be subject to the AML obligations. And when they transact, exchange, or custody virtual currency, this comprehensive approach guards against loopholes where, for example, custodians might claim that only holding private key place them outside the regulatory reach.
Okay. So, Nikhil, which federal and provincial bodies regulate in VDAs in Canada?
Okay, so the Canada's VDA oversight is split between federal anti-money laundering authorities and provincial securities regulator, creating a twin peak model. Okay, so first of all, there is a federal level MLCFT regulator, that is FinTrack. So under the PCM regulation, FinTrack, that is Financial Transaction and Report Analysis Center of the Canada. It governs all the MSBs, including those dealing in virtual currencies. Since June 1, 2020, VDA platform exchanges, brokers, and custodians that handle transaction exchanges custodians. In VDAs are deemed money services businesses and must register, implement KYC program, file large cash and VDA transaction reports, and monitor for suspicious activities as well. Further, FinTrack also issues guidance, okay, such as its June 2021 travel rule bulletin, detailing now how originator and beneficiary must accompany the cross-border VDA transfers. Okay, so the provincial securities regulator further are, that is the Canadian Securities Administration. So previously we were covering the federal level regulator. Now there is a provincial regulator as well, that is the Canadian Securities Administrator, CSA. It is an umbrella organization of provincial territorial securities commission. The CSA assess the whether particular token qualify as securities under Provincial Securities Act or not. So if they do trading, platform must register as dealer or marketplace, issue prospectus or rely and comply with conscious continuous disclosure rules. Okay. So in 2023 as well, the CSA issued staff notices clarifying that tokens conferring profit share, dividends, or governance rights are securities and outlining pre-registration undertaking for crypto trading platforms seeking to onboard Canadian clients. And coordination and future initiatives are further that Finance Canada and the Office of Superintendent of Financial Institution, OSFI, also monitor systems exposed by the VDA adoption and periodically consult on legislative amendments to harmonize the definition, expand beneficial ownership transparency.
Okay, so that was really informative, Nikhil. You mentioned each and every point over there. So, what is the registration requirement to apply for VDA service providers in Canada?
Hmm. So, since June 2020, any person or entity dealing in the virtual currencies, whether via exchange services, brokerage, custodial wallet, or value transfer services, is deemed a money service business. And under Canada's Proceeds of the Crime and Terrorist Financing Act, to comply such entities are registered. First of all, you will have to be registered with FinTrack by submitting the prescribed registration form and paying the fee. This process involves providing corporate information, identifying beneficial owners, and designating a senior compliance officer responsible for AML CFT oversight. Further, implement a risk based compliance program, including policies and procedures to identify, assess, and mitigate money laundering and terrorist financing risks associated with the virtual currency transactions. Further, adopt client identification measures to verify the identity of all customers before onboarding. This include collecting government issued ID, proof of address, and screening against sanction and politically exposed persons PEP list. Okay, and further there is a maintenance of record. So you'll have to record the transaction, client information, client compliance activities for at least 5 years. Ensure traceability of funds and facilitating audits. Okay, so failure to register by the June 1, 2020 deadline exposes providers to administrative monetary penalties and potential criminal sanctions. Across Canada, FinTrack has published guidance indicating that activities such as exchanging fiat or for crypto for crypto, or custodial wallet services trigger MSB registration obligations. In practice, many exchanges voluntarily registered ahead of the mandatory date to ensure continuity of the services and build trust with institutional counterparts. Both domestic and foreign entities servicing Canadian clients must register foreign MSBs, follow a similar process under FinTrack foreign registration requirements. So this registration regime aligns Canada with FATF standards, ensuring global interoperability in AML CTF efforts.
Okay. So, what are the key AML and CTF obligations for VDA platforms?
Okay, so uh, see, once you have been registered as a MSB VDA platform, inherits a suite of AML safety applications. Okay, so these are almost identical to those traditional financial institutions, but tailored to digital assets. They must first of all they will must have to do a large value transaction reporting. Okay, it means that you'll have to file a large virtual currency transaction report for any single transaction of CAD 10,000 or more within 5 business days of receipt. Further, suspicious transaction reporting, submitting a suspicious transaction report whenever there are reasonable grounds to suspect funds are linked to the money laundering or terrorist financing activity, regardless of the transaction amount. Further, client due diligence, you collect and verify. You'll have to collect and verify the entity information, name, date of birth, address, and government issued photo ID. Further, there will be a ongoing monitoring that will go on forever. So, continuous monitoring client transaction for red flags, including rapid movement between high risk jurisdiction. You'll have to do a record keeping, written transaction records, customer verifications, risk assessment, वगैरह वगैरह, and travel rule compliances for transfers over exceeding CAD with thousand Canadian dollars, collect and transmit originator and beneficiary informations as well. So these obligations are enforced through FinTrack administrative penalty regime. But FinTrack regularly publishes red flag indicators and issues compliance examination reports highlighting common deficiencies such as incomplete KYC and failure to report large transactions and inadequate monitoring frameworks as well. So platforms often use automated transaction monitoring software to flag suspicious pattern in real time. And regular training for frontline staff is essential to recognize evolving typologies, such as use of privacy coins or DeFi breaches, and to escalate alerts appropriately. So, by aligning digital asset compliance with traditional MSB standards, Canada ensures that VDS cannot be exploited for illicit finance while fostering a level playing field across the financial services.
Okay. So you talked about compliance. So how can compliance technology help meet these obligations that we are talking about?
Okay, so Kunal, when we talk about digital asset platforms, so digital asset platforms face a unique challenge. So transaction volumes can be surged rapidly, peer-to-peer transfer bypasses, which are in a centralized control, and new types of stable coins, DeFi tokens also emerge constantly. So compliance technologies address these challenges by, first of all, real-time transaction monitoring. Second of all, there is a wallet address screening. Third of all, there is a customer risk scoring. Fourth of all, there is automated STR generation. Fifth of all, and the next one is the audit trail and reporting dashboard. So, for example, uh, SecureDApp's compliance dashboard integrates blockchain forensics with a rule engine that flags transaction above regulatory thresholds as well. So, compiles uh, so these machine learning models assess client risks. When an alert is triggered, compliance software can auto-populate suspicious transaction reports, comprehensive logs of KYC checks, risk scoring decisions. So these all have to meet, you will have to meet this all the types of obligations. Okay, either you do with automated technology or you do it with your own. You'll have to do this all obligations.
Okay. So when does the travel rule apply to VDAs in Canada?
Yeah, that's a very great question, Kunal. So see, under the FinTrack June 2021 travel rule guidance, any video transfer that is above $1,000, 1,000 Canadian dollars or more, whether cross-border or domestic triggers, can obligation to collect, retain, and transmit a specific originator and beneficiary information alongside the transfer. So you'll have to keep the key points. Key points are that you'll have to collect the originator's name, account number, addresses. You'll have to report the entities must retain this information for at least 5 years. Third, when sending the VDS to another registered MSB, domestic or foreign, the sending MSB must securely transmit the data to receiving MSB. Further, even a non-custodial transfer facilitated via on-off ramps invoke the rule if the MSP facilitates the transaction. So the travel rule mirrors FATF recommendation adapted for digital access. It closes gaps where originator benefits beneficiary chain could be obscured by layering, mixing, or fragmented transfers. So entities are expected to implement secure messaging protocols, and failure to comply can result in significant AMPs or PCMLA regulations.
Okay. So how are the security tokens treated under Canadian securities laws that we talk about?
So, see, Kunal, security tokens that we talk about is digital representation of equity. Okay, equity, debt, profit sharing, interest, or other economic rights. So, these are generally classified as securities when they confer any of the following attribute. First of all, there is a profit sharing or dividend. There is a voting or governance right, or if there is a evidence of title or indebtedness. And the CSA staff notice clarifies that custodial platforms offering crypto assets without immediate irrevocable or chain delivery hold the assets on behalf of clients and therefore create a derivative of security interest. In such cases, Provincial Securities Acts apply, requiring registration as dealer or marketplace, prospectus requirement or exemptions, continuous disclosure. Registered issuers must provide annual and interim financial statements, and further, the custody and segregation requirements. Client assets must be held in dedicated accounts or wallets. So, further, moreover, MSA staff notice 21332 introduce pre-registration undertakings or crypto asset trading platform, including commitments on custody, leverage restrictions, and financial reporting during the transition of full registration. So, by treating security tokens like traditional securities, Canada ensures investor protection, disclosure, transparency, and market integrity. So, even as a tokenization, open new avenues for capital raising and liquidity.
Okay. So, Nikhil, we have heard about Sandbox. So, what provincial sandbox or innovation hub programs exist in Canada?
Okay, so to foster fintech and digital asset innovation, several provinces offer a sandbox or a launchpad type of initiative that provide tailored subject regulatory support. Okay, so it's like a pilot project. Okay, so there is Ontario Securities Commission Launchpad. There is Quebec FinTech Advisory Committee. There is Alberta Securities Commission. There is British Columbia Securities Commission Sandbox, and it goes on and on and on. So launched in 2016. So in Canada's first security regulator, Iran Innovation Office, Launchpad offers a fintech firm education on securities law. So for informal guidance on regulatory implications and in select cases, time limited registration, relief or exemptive relief of test novel products in a live environment. So eligible participants can engage with OSC staff from day one, receive connections to angel investors, access innovation offices, beta directory of professional service providers as well. So there are many types of sandbox programs that exist in the Canada right now, but there are not many that have been that much successful. So we'll have to look in the future that how many types of innovation that are coming in. So
Okay. So, Nikhil, we are back on the question that we ask every time. So,
okay,
how does Canada put
uh,
tax on VDA
yes,
transactions?
I expected this question, man. So I prepared as well for this. So the Canada Revenue Agency, that is the CRA, it treats the crypto assets as commodities and not currencies. So tax treatment depend on the
Okay.
nature of the activity. Okay, so it is a big business income versus the capital gains debate. So if it is a business income like frequent trading, short holding periods, promotional activities, or systematic mining operations, so typically it indicates a business. Profits are fully taxable as income. And if it's from a capital gains like occasional buy and hold transaction or investment purpose, yield 50, if there is a yield of 50% inclusion of debt, so losses are allowable, capital losses. So so, CRS guidance traces as a case by case analysis and considering factors like factors like frequency, intention to profit, and time devoted to trading. Goods and service taxes are also applicable on it. So the sale of crypto is generally a taxable supply of intangible personal profit. So it is subject to GST unless the seller is small supplier. And further, there have been keeping requirements, reporting of tax returns as well. So the accurate record keeping and clear delineation business of the business versus investment activities are crucial to avoid the audits and reassessments. Given evolving technologies and tax guidance, consulting a specialized advisor is recommended.
Okay. So, Nikhil, what consumer protection measures apply to virtual digital assets exchanges in Canada?
Hmm. So see, while Canada lacks a single crypto-specific consumer protection statute, a patchwork of regulatory safeguard applies. So there is securities law protection. There is MSP transparency requirements. There are prohibition on misleading statements. There are self-regulatory organization guidelines. There are complaints and dispute resolution. So these layered measures, securities law when applicable, MSB rules for AML safety, general consumer protection, these all create a overlapping safeguard to help ensure transparent, fair, and secure VDAs services. Okay, so when suppose that when token qualify as securities, so trading platforms must register as dealers. Okay, so as dealers or marketplaces and adhere to the client's asset custody rules, segregation of client funds, suitability and know your product obligation, and clear disclosure of the fees and risks. So FinTrack mandates disclosure of service fee, exchange rates, and term services. Platforms must prominently display fee schedule and exchange spreads to avoid deceptive practices as well.
Okay. So, Nikhil, we talked about compliance. So, what are the penalties on non-compliance?
Okay, so non-compliance with Canada's VDA regulations can trigger a spectrum of sanctions, man. If there are so there are administrative monetary penalties by FinTrack. So if there is a minor violation, you can be charged up to 1,000 Canadian dollars. If there is a serious violation, you can be charged even up to 1,000 to 500,000 dollars Canadian dollars. If there are criminal sanctions, so if you suppose that if you have willfully breached their AML guidelines, so you can be charged for criminal activities and conviction and imprisonments as well. There are civil liabilities, okay, so like fraud, breach, fiduciary duties, negligence, and all. There are securities regulatory sanctions as well. You can be charged up to like uh, ten thousands of the dollars. So there are a lot of sanctions that are available right now, and those are very, very, very serious in all the domains: civil liability, criminal liability. So uh, you'll have to just go through with the compliance, man. You cannot just violate those. Face some serious charges.
Okay. So, next question is how do cross-border VDA transaction gets monitored?
Okay, so cross-border transfers of VDS invoke both the travel rule and the broader FATF-driven cooperation business. So first of all, there is travel rule compliance. Second of all, there is a FATF mutual evaluation. There is supervisory collaboration. There is a export control screening. So as previously described, originator beneficiary data must accompany transfers to foreign MSBs. And if the counterpart cannot receive or store the data securely, the sending MSB must file a suspicious transaction report. So Canada's FATF first, then there is Canada's last FATF mutual evaluation, which highlighted gaps in the mutual beneficial ownership transparency and trade-based crimes. And in response, Canada continues regulation with the key jurisdiction to establish data sharing agreements or video transfer, ensuring that parties can trace illicit flows as well. So, by combining these robust data transmission protocols with multilateral cooperation, Canada aims to close jurisdictional loopholes and align its media monitoring with the best practices in the fiat cross-border payments.
Okay. So, Nikhil, talking from an industry point of view, so what are the recent updates that the industry should be keeping an eye on in Canada?
Okay, so uh, see, in the early 2025, in early 2025, Canada finalized the selected several key amendments to their ML CFT guidelines. That is, first of all, there will be a beneficial owner registry discrepancy reporting, in which reporting entities must flag discrepancies between client information and federal beneficial ownership registry. Further, there is an expansion of regulated entities. So, as of April 1, 2025, there are many companies, check cashing businesses, and financial leasing companies fall within the PMLA guidelines. Further, there are trade-based financial crime measures. So, new good reporting obligations aim to mitigate trade-based money laundering risk and further enhance information sharing framework. So a voluntary mechanism allows MSBs and other reporting entities to share suspicious transaction reporting among themselves. Okay, so in parallel, the CSA consulted on a harmonized prospectus exemption for token-based offerings to ensure reduce fragmentations across provinces with blankets order effective April 17, 2025.
Okay. So how is enforcement evolving in the Canadian VDA space?
Okay, so enforcement is increasingly coordinated between financial and securities regulators, reflecting the dual regime oversight. So, FinTrack compliance exams of VDA platforms. In 2024, FinTrack targeted examination on of MSBs dealing in virtual currency identified widespread deficiencies in KYC documentation. Further, the provincial securities actions, the OSC and the other CSA members stepped up enforcement against unregistered crypto trading platforms. So this cases like CoinField, Bybit, and KuCoin. So these are all tribunal approved settlement. They imposed almost as far as I remember, they imposed almost $2 million in penalties. Okay, on KuCoin, KuCoin, and so these were all class suit actions, and these are all enforcement that were done. And this blended enforcement approach combining MPs, registration revocations, civil actions, market bans. So these all underscore the seriousness with which Canada treats their VDA compliance, deterring misconduct and elevating market standards.
Okay. So Nikhil, we all know about decentralized finance. So how are DeFi protocols regulated under the Canadian law?
Okay, so Kunal, in Canada, DeFi protocols occupy a regulatory gray zone. Okay, so because they often lack a central counterpart. So CSA and FinTrack access DeFi activities based on functional criteria, who effectively control or benefits from the protocol, and whether value transfer or trading services are offered or not. So first of all, there is a MSB consideration. So if a DeFi platform offers value transfer services, FinTrack may deem it an MSB activity. The key question is whether there is an identified dealer or facilitator. For example, a TAO treasury or a development team responsible for a liquidity provisioning. If so, that entity must register, implement KYC, and report large or suspicious transactions. Further, there are securities law. So the CSA applies a substance over form approach to determine if token or activities qualify as securities. So if a DeFi token confers governance, right, profit sharing or revenue stream claiming, trading pools may be treated as unregistered exchange or dealers. So and further there are smart contract audits. So DeFi, while the code itself isn't regulated, entities that write, deploy, or market the DeFi smart contracts can face liability under the Securities Consumer Protection or Anti-Fraud Statute. So further, there are regulatory engagements as well. So DeFi developers can engage with the provincial sandbox program and to seek no action relief or guidance on compliance. Such safe harbor remain rare but signal regulator willingness to collaborate on novel business model. Ultimately, Canadian authorities focus on real world actors behind the DeFi rather than purely on chain code. So those actors must comply with the MSB and securities log obligation when their protocols facilitate exchange or investment functions.
Okay, so that was really informative from you, Nikhil. I was not knowing so much of info that you just mentioned here about DeFi in Canada. So, my next question is, what consideration applies on NFTs? We talked about DeFi earlier. Now, what are the consideration apply on NFTs, non-fungible tokens?
Okay, so see, man, NFTs are unique digital items, but their legal treatment depends on their attributes and use case. Okay, so commodities versus security. So the most art or collectible style NFTs are treated as commodities outside the security perimeter. However, if an NFT offers fractional ownership, profit sharing, or future value guarantees, it may qualify as a securities under the Securities Act. And further, there are AML/CTF obligations as well that we are talking in the whole video, man. The platform that mint list or trade NFTs for fiat or other VDS may fall under the MSB rules if they facilitate exchanges services. FinTrack considers whether the NFT marketplace access payments and videos or fiat requiring KYC or not. Further, there are intellectual property or consumer protection acts. So misrepresentation claims can arise if NFT projects if NFT projects sell tokens with promise of a specific IP or utility not honored. So the Competition Bureau has warned against these misleading marketing and recommended transparent disclosure of the rights granted to purchaser. Further, there are tax implications as well. So CRA treats NFTs as digital commodities. Airdropped or gifted NFTs may trigger income inclusion or add fair market value as well. And further, there are regulatory sandboxes. So NFT platforms will can engage with provincial innovation to clarify treatment, especially when combining NFT sales with investing features. So in essence, pure collectible NFTs escape securities regulation, but still attract AML, CTF tax, and consumer protection oversight. So projects should design terms clearly separate collectible and investment features and ensure compliance with the MSB and the tax rules.
Okay, Nikhil. So this was our final question for SecureDApp Spotlight Season 1.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed this 10 episode series where you discussed about almost each country and one European Union, where I think you mentioned each and every aspect of virtual digital assets, decentralized finance, NFTs. You have touched upon each and every aspect of this uh, series, of this topic rather. So thank you, Nikhil. Thank you for being so kind and sharing these insights from which are really important for our audience.
Okay, man. I was very glad that you invited me. And everybody, please go to SecureDApp.io website and visit there all their products, their blockchain security products, their smart contract audit products like Secure Watch, Solidity Shield, and they have a fabulous tech team. So their products are really fabulous, and you'll always be protected from any of the malwares, any of the hackings, and any of the smart contract malfunctioning as well. So please go and visit their website as well. I'm very glad and honored that you people invited me, and so this was the
Thank you,
final
Nikhil. But
episode.
any final advice or any final words uh for the audience that have been so kind and have heard all of our episode, have watched all of our episode? Any final words for them?
Final words are only one thing. If you uh, what can I say, that blockchain and crypto is the future, and every country will eventually come up with the regulation, with their own compliance mechanism, their own regulations and all. So please watch out for those. Don't think crypto as a for your illicit transactions or your for money laundering activities. This is something that is going to be very big. This is the future, and please follow the rules and regulations, please. So don't be anti non-compliance with this.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you so much for your real insights. This was season 1 of SecureDApp Spotlight with Nikhil Prasad and with host Kunal Chowdhury. Nikhil, you want to speak anything?
No, man, I think it's been completed.
Oh, okay, sure. Then we can just wrap up. So thank you for watching, audience. If you like this video, hit the like button. If share this video with your friends, families, and colleagues. We will be back with our second season of SecureDApp Spotlight, where we will discuss more of regulations, more of cybersecurity, more of blockchain, and more of crypto. So stay tuned. This was your host, Kunal Chaudhary, signing off from SecureDApp Spotlight Season 1 with Nikhil Prasad. And subscribe to our SecureDApp's YouTube channel. Visit securedapp.io. Thank you. Thank you for being such a kind audience and hearing us out. Stay safe, stay secure, and as always, I say, stay ahead. See you next time.